Test. See if we get this audio right, because I gotta adjust it to make it sound decent enough for you guys and okay for me. How are you guys doing? What's up, Phil? 1212. Hope you guys are doing well. We got a lot to talk about. Big day. Sorry, telling kiddos good night. Per the usual, this stream is intended for educational purposes only. It's not intended to be used as financial advice, even if it was mistaken to be financial advice. This is a parody art show, so we'll keep that in mind. And per the usual as well, if you were curious why my charts are not black and white or red and green, check us out at rainbow-trends.com. That's where we've got all the information on all this type of stuff, as well as a bunch of our OGs who use the tools as well, and what you could potentially learn from those dudes, because they've been waking up this week in particular and doing a lot of damage in the Discord. If you don't know or you're not joined on the Discord, click that link at the top. It's always there. Discord links are kind of hard to find sometimes, especially because they look kind of weird, but that link at the top, the little banner, will take you right there. So getting started, wanted to do a quick little update. So I wrote this post, kind of a reflection post, because kind of in a different mood definitely this year. Really went nonstop for over 2 years coding away, and really impacted a lot of my life, for the better, for the worse. I wanted to just kind of share this one if you guys didn't see it, and talk about it a little bit, because I've got friends as well that are kind of going through the same thing. But at this point, this whole Rainbow project, which wasn't even intended to be a public project, is coming up on 7 years now. And if you guys don't know the original story, I just found out that I needed tools for me to make logic of the markets, because I couldn't make sense of it. And I kind of have an engineering background where, like, I need to make sense and understand how stuff works. And inadvertently found out others needed it too. So I've built out additional code throughout the years, input, digging deeper into whale theory and rainbow theory. And somewhere along the journey, this project crossed 10,000 lines of code, while the rest of the competition is pretty much under 500 lines. And at that point, you couldn't make me sick or tired. I was axe to the grind wheel. Made a lot of friends along the way that I talk to the daily, and have clients who have been with me for over 5 years trading rainbows. I'm very grateful to all of you. I've seen many fake people in this space. It makes me very thankful to the OGs who have stuck with me all these years. So shout out, because you guys definitely know who you are. This past year, I've been taking on a new engineering role, and been focusing on trying to be a better dad. I've got 2 kiddos, if you don't know, and full-time engineering role, full-time Rainbow Trends role, full-time video editor, media, all that stuff, and coder. It gets crazy. And I've finally taken some steps back this year to actually log off, spend the time with the fam, and I'm enjoying it up. And as 2024 is wrapping up, I'm still kindling that flame and keeping it going, but looking at new challenges. We went so deep into uncharted territory with Rainbow and the whale theory that we were completely off all the maps in forms of TA documentation and tutorials. And that's true. We have gone so deep into stuff that is into uncharted territories, where I believe the real alpha is. All the stuff that's known, I don't think is really alpha. These people trying to trade gold crosses on the 200 EMAs, it's kind of a known thing. I don't think it's as crazy as much edge as you want. So we kind of looked. I always try to look where people didn't look, and that's where I found a lot of alpha. So, anywho, but I'm still going to keep coding. We just released a new tool this week, made it public, trying to cross our fingers, and hopefully it stays up on TradingView as public. But a big focus of my time will be better documenting tutorials on how to use the alpha and what we've already been found, and kind of explain it, because we've got a lot of people waking up to the alpha that is kind of in the whale theory and rainbow theory stuff, is how it kind of goes across all kind of platforms of how people trade. You can see Nexus use it, you can see Malifestro use it, you can see all different types of people use it with different stuff, and it can find the alpha. There's real signal there that can add to your trading stuff. So as much as I dread writing up documentation, I'm going to try to keep this flame burning. and I'm going to try to get this documentation built. And I've started looking at some websites specifically for this. And if you guys have any experience with this stuff, or if there's anybody who does a lot of documentation, please hit me up or shoot me a message. I'm currently looking at Notion right now. I looked at another one a while back and tried to do some Rainbow Trend stuff, and it worked out, but just I couldn't get the customization that I needed. So I'm looking at this, and I'm reaching out to a few of my OGs. But my plan is to build this stuff up and do layers of explaining everything about Rainbow Trends. So when a new person hops on, hasn't been listening to me talk crazy whales and Alameda and all these theories and quant stuff for like 3 years, can actually make sense of it, document trade setups, and then also document like setups specifically for like Rainbow Theory traders. So like I want to add stuff that Malifestro does, Doppel, Pixa, all these different people that do like specific stuff, cover my capitulation knife catches, cover my yin yang trades, you name it. I kind of want to do that. So if you guys have experience, hit me up, because I don't want to get halfway through writing this stuff and then find out I need to use a different one. So anyway, moving on. Shout out 9K. He's one of my top 5 most trusted people in this space, and he kind of had a reflection post too that inadvertently hit with mine. So I thought this was a good read, and shout out 9K. He's got a kiddo right now. He's 18 months old. He's running 2 companies and a number of side hustles. Throw in trading and consulting and running a crypto project, and it takes a real tool. He's working his ass off now, more than ever. But he's trying to basically build up a revenue stream for his kids when they set up and finally like start going to school, stuff like that. So he's given advice, start trying to get these long-term views when you're younger. It would be great to have this mindset when you're in your 20s, not in your mid to late 30s, right? I think it'd be really beneficial, and I gave him the same thing. It's like, dude, try to keep that fire burning, because when that fire goes out, man, is it hard to get it back. If you ever notice, I'll get on a coding streak where stuff just starts naturally coming to me. I will run with that as long as I can and keep that fire going. And then when it's out, I'm off my streak. And problems that take me years to solve, like the Rainbow or the Runner bot, I could never figure out the bottom. And I tried and forced it. And I finally had to wait till a big flame of confluence came in my life, and it just started clicking. And then I knocked through that, and I knocked through a whole bunch of other cool problems that I'd had on the wall for years. And I knocked a bunch of them out in about 2 weeks. And then I got burnt out and had to take a break. But it's hard to explain, but it's just kind of like writer's block is what. But that's my life. That's where we're at. It's good news. It's bad news. I got a lot of work to do. I'm going to keep working. And as always, hit me up. A lot of the stuff we've built out the past 18 months has been specifically trying to build better tools for these traders that are not me. We built a lot of stuff from Pixa and Malifestro, and even this week's Malifestro's kind of side project he asked me to build for him got released. So I'm really excited, and it seemed to getting a lot of interest. So I'm going to do a little video tutorial of that. But before we move on, I got to show this, because you guys know me. I'm a dirt bike nut. Red Bull raced a downhill mountain bike, and this is an older video. It was a few months, 3 months ago, but I just saw it pop up in my news feed. They raced a downhill mountain bike versus a motocross or a off-road dirt bike, and I thought it was freaking awesome. I wanted to show this. Has nothing to do with crypto, but it is
Johnny
really
has
cool.
ticked off every part of this course, but it all leads to this, the final race run. So let's hand over to the voice of Red Bull Hardline,
like first-person
Rob Warner.
views of the racing.
Practice behind him. It's about to get very
I've done some trail
real
running
for
in my
Johnny
life
Walker,
quite a bit.
one of the world's most
This is
accomplished
scary
off-road
fast,
motorcycle
how
racers.
fast he's doing this
Johnny
on
has
a
pointed his enduro bike at the most extreme
I would hit
terrain on
multiple
planet
trails
Earth.
and have to call an
Now
ambulance.
he's about to tackle Red Bull Hardline. Can he bring a motorcycle down the world's hardest downhill mountain bike track? Can he get anywhere in those winning times we've seen from the last decade? And here he comes across this big rock slab, end of sector 1. Walker already having to get on the brakes here. That dirt bike 7 times the weight of a mountain bike. And in these tight
If you guys don't
sections,
know,
he
that's a
will feel it,
250
and he will
pound
feel
dirt
it off
bike
this drop here.
that wants nothing,
So much
does
harder
not want
to
to
stop
turn.
the big dirt
He
bike
just
there.
wants to go
Walker though, safely off there. Turns left, gonna hook 4th gear here now. As he comes down to the cannon, 75 feet, goes deeper, no problem on the enduro bike.
Two-stroke as well. Probably makes
Big step up, Walker
45, 50
safely
horsepower.
over that. And now comes the biggest drop on this track, and definitely one of the hardest places to slow down on that
This is
heavy
sick.
enduro bike.
This
Walker's
is-
done it though. Going to be losing time, I would think, through this section now. Up on the rocks he goes. But that big enduro bike, hard to throw left and right. Picking his way through the tree roots. Hard to believe here that he's as quick as the mountain bikes. Coming out now into the dirty ferns.
252
And up onto
stroke.
the
man.
end of sector 3
Bro,
on this lily
do you
pad
guys
now.
think the bikes can
Straight
win?
off here,
or
hard on
dirt
the
bike?
power, then hard on the brakes before he hits this big
I was pro dirt
90
bike
footer.
before I watched
Walker
the numbers.
sails
I thought
way
there's no way
past
a
the
mountain bike could
London,
outrun this, but what do you
carrying
think?
so much speed in this long right hander.
Shagging so fast.
And now these tight turns are placed. The mountain bikers say they take a breather. Walker will be working hard.
It's not like he can memorize
through
this
here.
course.
The big heavy
Like-
motorbike flip-flop through those turns. In this rock section, he's usually riding up stuff like that into the tightest right-hander on the course. Walker cleanly through there. Certainly the biggest medal challenge on this track. Walker safely across the road
Yeah,
gap
maybe if you
again.
want to see it, that's a beta 250 or 300.
In the sector
two-stroke.
5 now.
Really nice
Super
off-road
tight,
bikes.
super
Just got into
technical.
motocross racing.
Roots and rocks everywhere, picking his way down through here. Oh, big gap coming up. Walker sends it. And another one into this right-hander now. And while the mountain bikers
I love
can
the
pick
Red Bull
up
stuff. That'd be
and
such
bunny
a
hop
crazy
over a
ride
lot of
to
this
see
terrain,
bikes.
Walker is forced to ride through on the heavier dirt bike. Making light work of it though. He's going to come into this left-hander now. And onto this last straight then. Big long drop for him. And Walker now going to be faster. All the way to the finish line, opens it up. Clears the 75-footer. Johnny Walker completes Red Bull. See,
So to cut it short, he
or can it match any of the fastest
The mountain
winning
bikes
runs
are
from the
faster.
last 10 years of Red Bull Hardline?
That's sick.
Over to Jono Jones to find out.
Johnny, well done. Very, very
Just
impressed.
spoiler.
How did it feel?
Spoiler alert.
You ended up.
As long as I'm closer to the top than I am to the bottom, I'll be happy.
I can tell you
Go on.
that you did a 2:33, which is in here,
Oh,
which I think is exceptional. So you're on the podium
Squeeze me in.
where you belong.
Homie could have been like, you could literally race a mountain bike versus a dirt bike and the mountain bike would win. It's just absolutely insane. But anyway, moving on. Back to documentation. This is one of the ones I've spent a lot of time on. Malifestro really pioneered it. And, well, I say really, he is the one that kind of like pioneered is this. And I've just spent enough time watching him to be able to where I could spot stuff myself. You guys know me, like when I do the streams and stuff, I try to like rub people's noses in these setups so that people will like see a part without me talking about it. You guys need to start seeing this one. I call it the Mally sweep. I'm not 100% sure what he calls it. He just draws it and I know what he's talking about. But basically it's a sweep into the liquidity below the low, and then you watch it pop up and then see the low respected. And I've been telling people that you guys need to pay attention to this Mally sweep because it hits hard. And Stacks came in today and he's like, hey, I'm starting to see that Malifestro dip fractal, everyone, and I like it. And Malifestro popped up and started preaching the word. So shout out Mally. And that's a really cool thing. And this will be one of the things I kind of want to do the documentation about. Is we'll document like the tools and stuff, but I want to do like screenshots showing you like, hey, this is how this trader does it. Not me, another trader. This is how he looks at it and uses rainbow theory to do his stuff on different time frames and stuff. Because Malifestro's that interview, I think, went 3.5 hours. And I still probably only understand about 70% of what he says, even though he speaks English. But moving on. If you guys didn't know, the Rainbow Trends 913 pivots tool has been released. It was released privately, and a lot of people blew that one up, but I wanted to make it where you could find it. So I've been working with the mods, so shout out Pine Coders. They've been helping me out trying to navigate all the house rules because it's not something I'm terribly familiar with and had to like learn and ask a bunch of questions, but this one's now live and you can search for it. So if you just search Rainbow Trends in TradingView, this will pop up. And I wanted to walk through it, and there's an actual documentation here. I'll post it real quick in the chat. That's the link, and since we are on Twitter, I have to post it in another chat thing because Twitter's funky. There you go. But this has the write-up on everything, and you can add it to your favorites, and once you add it to your favorites, it'll be there. But This walks you through how the sequences work, how the pivots work, how the extended trends get marked when they die off, and then annotations of the charts, annotations of the extended trends. But long story short, this was something Malifestro asked me to build for him. And I was like, it's like, man, I'm not crazy about sequential pivots, but I'll build it. It's not, what you're asking is not that terribly that hard. So I went ahead and built it, and I wanted to walk you guys through the tool because it's pretty nifty, because it's really starting to hit and it's kind of interesting. So like I said, if you type in rainbow trends, you will see it pop up under community as 9-13-00 pivots, quote unquote, rainbow trends. I definitely hit the smash the little rocket like button. There's only 7 there. But let me run you through it real quick, because we haven't done an official tutorial on this, but I'll clip this and put it on YouTube. So this is just the Apple chart. You can pick any chart. Do Aave. Well, we'll do 1 inch. That's fine. Just wanted to do something without a bunch of marks on it. So this tool has a bunch of different stuff. As always, I try to open up the color options so you can do what you want to do with it. All that's pretty self-explanatory. And if you don't know, you can just start guessing with colors and you'll see the stuff update, like right there. And when in doubt, go down here and reset and everything will go back to normal. So you can play with your color settings, like whatever. But the main basis of it, it's 3 things. There's the bullish trend continuations. There is the numbers on the sequential, and there is pivots as well as candle colors. So the first thing is the counts of the sequentials. So you'll see those there, the 9s and the 13s. And then if you want to add pivots on them, or if you want to have a candle color on those so that they flash a little differently, you'll notice it'll make it like hollow. And you'll notice you don't see it right now. Hit these 3 little dots and do visual order, bring to front, and then you'll see it. That's with like the main tool too. You have to bring it forward, which is kind of weird, but it's just how TradingView works, because it puts the tools behind your candles, which makes sense. But you'll see how that one's hollow. That gives it a little indication. So your 9 and 13s get visually marked on the candle as well as the number, and then you can add pivots to those, and those pivots are there. So the thicker pivots are the 13 counts. The 9 counts are the thinner pivots. And then you can also do the extended one, because on paper, the sequential count doesn't make sense to me. And if you guys aren't familiar with this equation, it's sequential is equal to close greater than the close that happened 4 candles before it. So what this means is when you have candles, right? If this candle is the close is greater than the candle that was 4 feet back, the sequential is true. And once that's true 9 times in a row, right? That's what that sequential triggers. That's how that works. It's kind of a weird equation, but that's what they use. And like Crypto ISOs used it forever, and Crypto ISO's legit. So, and a good fishing friend buddy of mine. So anyway, that's how that equation works, and that's what that means. So essentially, you get on a streak where your current close is greater than your 4 candles back, and then when you move up 1, it's 4 candles again, but it hopscotches up as the candles progress. Once this is true 13 times, you get the 13 mark. Well, my head always butted with this. This didn't make sense to me. And I was like, Mally, I'll build it for you, but I don't understand why this equation makes sense to me. I think you should be more concerned when this goes on a streak and then is no longer true. That's how I took it. So I wrote it and added this, because to me this was more important data-wise on paper. Extended trends, extended bullish trends stop, as well as extended bearish trend stops. So what this does, once your sequential has been counted greater than 9 times, this algorithm will now watch for the first candle to not meet that condition, even if it's not exactly on a 9 or a 13, because sometimes you can go on some crazy runs where it's like, I don't know, 30 candles in a row are true, right? So you would be technically sequential 30 instead of sequential 13. Well, I think that's important too, because if you're on an infinite run, technically, right? Not an infinite run, but you're on something well past 9 or 13, I think the turning point is important. And that was weird. I think the turning point is really important. So even if this was like sequential 98, I really care that the 99th didn't print, and that's what these horizontal bars were. I'm running out of like colors and stuff to be able to visually mark this, so I did it with these bars, and that's what these are. So when you see extended conditions past 9 and it sees it no longer true, it puts a vertical bar on it, so you can visually see that. Let me think. Like, let me go look at Luna. That's probably a good one. If it shows the old nuke, it was like the nuke that never stopped. Does this show? There it is. So this was an insane nuke. That one reset, and then this one reset as well. So that was really important to me. And it's going to change how you do timings and stuff like that. But that's the rundown of the tool. Hope you guys enjoy it. Smash the like button on it. Goes a long way. And I'm going to see if... I wish I could incorporate it into the main indicator, but I've passed the amount of variables that are allowed on it. So anyway, shout out Mally. Follow him now. He's a good dude. So moving on, how is the gang doing? If you guys didn't know, with the debates and everything else has kind of gotten a lot of attention. The FTX boys have been in court, and they've been getting into some major shit, and it's quite entertaining. If you guys don't know, that's Ryan. That's Sam. So Salame twice requested to withdraw his motion on August 29th and September 10th, but the judge insisted he and the prosecutors show up at the hearing today, looking forward to more of the truth bombs and wild revelations. So this is extremely hard to explain, and I'm not a lawyer. I may know a lawyer or two, but essentially Ryan Salame posted a guilty plea. He then requested to withdraw the guilty plea and then filed motions on October 29th and September 10th to withdraw the withdrawal of the legal plea. So my tongue's getting twisted. Essentially, he wanted to withdraw it, and then he tried to withdraw the withdrawal request, which it's backwards 10 times. He's probably guilty, right? But it's kind of interesting because he pissed the judge off, Kaplan, bad. And if you guys don't remember, Kaplan is the one that took SBF down. So if you guys don't follow Inner City Press, this dude's awesome. But I want to show you this.
Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, Southern District of New York. We've just come out of a hearing held by Judge Kaplan, the FTX case about Ryan Salem. Ryan Salem made a filing saying he wanted to withdraw his guilty plea because the prosecutors had promised that in exchange for it, they wouldn't indict the mother of his child, Michelle Bond, who ran for Congress on a pro-crypto platform and lost. Well, he tried to withdraw it, and Judge Kaplan said, no, you've got to come in today, or I'll remand you to jail prior to your turn-in date of October 11th. But he did come in, and for the last, I don't know, let's say 40 minutes, Judge Kaplan questioned Salam directly about whether he committed perjury during his guilty plea by saying that there were no other agreements in order to induce him to take the guilty plea. And Salam said yes. This stuck in Judge Kaplan's craw. He questioned the lawyer. He asked, the lawyer for Salam is offering to not raise this claim ever again in any court. But the question is, could he raise it in the Michelle Bond matter? And his lawyer said, appropriately, that if subpoenaed, if compulsory process, he'd have to say what he believes. Judge Kaplan asked Danielle Sassoon, or the prosecutor. She said that's unacceptable. He's taken it under advisement. It's really quite something. We'll have a story written about it soon, but I wanted to, was unable to do it live other than this way. That's where it stands. It's kind of like it was really something. Let's see if Ryan Salam talks on his way out. I kind of doubt it now that he's been read the Riot Act by Judge Kaplan. Inner City Press, to be continued.
So, Yeah. If you guys don't know, Ryan Salami was the one, and he says salam, which is the first time I've ever heard that. I hope it's salami. But anyway, he's one of the worst guys out of the entire FTX group. He was the mean guy. I hated him. And he just lies. And if you really don't remember, he is the one that was working with the cops initially on the investigation of the FTX fallout, and then he quit working with them, and then the FBI actually raided his house, which is crazy. But anyway, that's Ryan, right? He's got updates, as well as his, I think it's girlfriend, the older congressperson she tried to run for Congress. But Caroline is getting sentenced as well. And if you don't remember, Caroline was a cooperational witness in the FTX trial. But she was not smart enough to make a deal up front, so she did not have immunity. So she's gonna get sentenced soon. And then we're gonna see if they actually put her in jail or if they're gonna give her leniency. So I think Gary Wang got immunity. Sam Trabucco is surprisingly missing from action, albeit there is a protected whistleblower that they're refusing to name, and I'm got a suspicion who it might be. Got a suspicion. I think it's Trabucco. But anyway, moving on. We're going to move on past the bad vibes. We're going to go into good vibes. We're going to Bitcoin. Dude, Fletch, I hope she goes to jail. At least a year. She's I don't know. Is she evil, or is she incompetent, or are you still guilty if you're incompetent? That's a weird thing, but yeah, it's true. Martha Stewart went to jail for a lot less. Anyway, if you can see all these notations on my charts, my guy Pep, shout out Pep, shout out Stacks, Degens to the max. We got into a side conversation in their Discord about Wyckoff, and we started talking about how the Bitcoin chart is flat out not it's not a textbook Wyckoff chart. It's not. I don't care who you are. It's not. This does not match anything. But I will tell you this. People will study this range for generations. This is going to be studied hard because it ate a lot of people up. And Rainbow Theory traders were able to catch that creek, and then that capitulation candle. We caught all three of those. And it's been absolutely freaking grueling. And this is one of the ones I wanted to take a step back and do a Rainbow Theory 101 on creek jumps. So I did a lot of my start-offs on Wyckoff theory stuff. There's a bunch of Wyckoff schematics. This was one of the bad ones I could find that just showed different ones, because there's accumulation, there's distribution, there's reaccumulation, redistribution, whatever. And it's got a lot of the rhymes of the reason. The long story short is this stuff gets posted all over Twitter, and there's like 2 people I think can actually trade these things live. 99% of it on Twitter is hindsight clout posting, and it's not that I'm talking shit. I just want you guys to know there's a lot of people that they'll post this after the moves happened, and it's just clickbait. It's engagement bait. It's obvious now, but they weren't talking about it then. So I don't want you to feel like a dumbass. This stuff's really, really hard. It's meant to be. You're against the nastiest stuff in the jungle. The biggest whales in the world are doing these things to liquidate people and send them home. Remember, there's a winner to every trade, and there's a loser on the other side of that. Got to remember that. There's one winner, one loser, and these whales are really good at staying on the winning side. So, needless to say, we are off the textbooks. This thing is not any of these. In hindsight, once we break out of this range, whether that's up or down, people are going to start talking about it. It was obviously this, blah, blah, blah. They didn't have their money on the line. It's fake cloud stuff. So the one thing I wanted to talk about is, this is kind of where I started off, was like Wyckoff, and then I went way down into whale theories and then developed Rainbow Theory independently. Alongside that stuff, I wanted to show the importance of creeks and kind of like the mountains before you jump them, because This is something I spent years on, and I wanted to show this because people hit me up all the time now for the Barts, and they hit me up for the creek jumps. Like, very, very, very particular about those. And I wanted to explain it because I tried explaining it in the Discord. I confused a whole bunch of people about it, and then I ended up just annotating the charts, and I was like, okay, this is something I need to touch base about because, to me, Wyckoff charts, it's a range trade, and then there's parts of the range you can sniff out. And if you're not textbook, which a majority of the stuff is not like to the T perfect, hey, it's a higher low, la 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 la, that's where you can sprinkle in rainbow theory and get ahead of this stuff, and trade it. And that's where you kind of have to do a hybrid model. You've got to be a little bit of rainbow theory, you got to be a little bit of Wyckoff theory, mix the two, and you can catch elements of the Wyckoff stuff that people won't catch live, and they'll post it in hindsight. You can go back and check the tweets, the Discord, whatever. We longed both of these creeks, and we did that when a lot of people were crying about it, and I want to show you guys how to do this. So it's not me trying to look for clout. It's just me showing you, like, this is how this stuff works, and it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. I spent over 2 years figuring out Bart Simpson patterns. This took me probably 3 years, and I got burned bad, and a lot of other people did. Here. Very, very, very few people called bottom on this. Very, very few. And I did not call bottom until I got burned on the creek. And that was the last creek that ever burned me. And I want to show you why. So I'm going to show you. This is the last one that got me. This was 2021. Runner just went through a complete capitulation fall down on this knife catch. Had a little bit of capital, threw it down there, and then rode this. And then this was the bad boy. This is the creek that ate people alive. And you see it now, right? Like, if I turn all this stuff off, it's really, really hard to see. Especially if I don't have like the reversion bands and stuff on. Give me a second. Let me turn it on. Reversion. There you go. Sorry, I got other projects I don't want to show you guys. They're super secret. Right? If you guys don't have the tools on, you question your sanity because you're like, how far can this thing go? I've seen oil go to negative. Can crypto go to negative? I can't really, but maybe that's something we need to pioneer as the next project. A white paper of coins that can go negative. Shout out innovation. But when you turn on rainbow theory, you can start to see the elements of like a Wyckoff chart, right? The big things of a Wyckoff chart is there's a support range on the bottom. There is a resistance range on the top, right? You start to see some of the elements of that. So white candles in reversion bands, bottomy. That's like rainbow theory 101. 201 is like recognizing a range and how to play it. Normally when you get capitulation that bad on Bitcoin and on these type of time frames, especially if I go to like I'll stay here. On these time frames, it forces an accumulation range. So normally if you have like a knife catch that's bloody enough, I call them death wicks. If you get a legit lights out death wicks, I expect us to do this for three to 4 months. Like, it's coming. And that's what we got here. And the problem is we had gone from like nothing. We'd gone from like 10K all the way up to 65. So people were like, oh hell, we're gonna full retrace down to like below 10K. And people got really scared here, as they should have, because this was lights out gnarly. But the creek ate people alive. Ate them alive. And this is why these damn things print higher highs. So this is like, you can call that your whatever, your automatic reactions, whatever your bounces. That bad boy right there will make it solid. That was a higher high. And you would not believe how many people got completely wrecked on this free fall down, right? To re-enter here. It was bad. I remember how bad it was on Twitter and Discords. So people got completely wrecked. They saw a higher high, and they waited till we hit $41,000, and then they relonged the Pico top, and then price went all the way down back to 28,000. That doesn't look like that big of a move. That was a 30% move after all hell broke loose. People lost their shit, and they got it bad, right? So this was the last one that got me. I bit here on the Death Wick. You know me, when I see certain paint, certain colors, I throw money at it. Not that this is financial advice, this is an art show, but like I throw my money at whites and reversion bands, and I don't care. I will not get ripped out of those trades, for better or for worse. But this ate people up, and it jumped, and it went here, and this one, I called it the spring. I actually got on this one and argued with a lot of people about it, and I said I don't care, because when I was watching it on I think it was the 1 hour, you can't really see it on, you kind of can, but not really. I don't want to switch the time frames because it's going to mess up my drawings, but long story short, I called bottom on that candle, and I relonged it. And not me clout chasing, the reason I want to show this, if you try to make this a 100% Wyckoff chart, a spring goes lower than this. But this one didn't. So people didn't want to call bottom. So people called higher low here, or higher high here, longed it, they got destroyed. And then this did not do the stereotypical Wyckoff chart where the spring, right, is lower than the SC and the ST. So the argument is it's not perfect to Wyckoff, and it's not, but this is where you can throw some rainbow theory at this, and you can go, whoa, 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 pump your brakes. That's still support. That's still this one. This is still support. That's still resistance. This is a range. That's a creek. That's a jump across the creek. And then, with rainbow theory, that's weaker colors. So, albeit it didn't spring, but it's weaker colors. So when I see drives losing strength on colors, I know the bears are running out of steam. When the bears are tapping out, bulls come back. Bloody bulls bite back hard. And by God, did we have some bloody bulls here. And that's how you read these. So I'm telling you, I got destroyed here, re-entered here. Right? And that was when I said, I'm never going to lose another creek trade again in my life. And I studied the hell out of these and figured them out. So that's where this is. And if you go to lower time frames, you can see it a lot better. But you'll notice these are pure white candles. This is your Death Wick with a piggyback candle. That's what this is. And then it came back and did lower lows. Or not lower lows, it did additional drives. So that's really like your Death Wick drive 1, drive 2, and kind of like drive 3. These are pure white candles. These are whites and yellows. These are more yellows than whites. And then this one is just yellows and reds. So that tells me bears are done. And when bears are done after a Death Wick, it's up only time. And that's kind of where that stuff goes. In addition to that, you started seeing the Whale Prince cluster. Right? Bam, 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 bam. And they went up and through, right? So that is what I earned my scars on. That right there. And I remember my scars, and I learned from them. Because I said, hey, all these Wyckoff guys who post about these, they only talk about the creek jump after it's happened, and they don't get scared of this thing. And I don't know what it's called. I call it the mountain, and then this is the creek side that goes down the mountain. If you know me, I make up a lot of terms. But I've developed after those scars to have a sixth sense to say, hey, that's not a higher high. That is a mountain and I need to exit and protect my butt. Because the creek's coming and I need to get long here, not here. Because if you bet on the breakout of a higher high, you will lose majority of the time. Not really, but yeah. So that is where I earned my scars. And I want to teach you guys how to not earn those scars too. Learn from my mistakes and learn from my coding. Because if you paint the colors of this, you can see this stuff. If you can see it, you can get ahead of it. And this was, we called this one. This was another creek that we called. So this was the pure capitulation of the bottom. And let me go to 4 hours. Apologize because we're going to lose it all. Let me go find it. Where are we at? So we're spending way more time on creek than I thought, but this is good lesson learned. This is good alpha. And I'm going to dread having to clip all this, but it is what it is. You have no idea how many people got destroyed here and relonged this. And the one thing I want to say, we caught this one too. I think we were looking at it on the 2 hour to make it a little clearer, but we caught this one in the Discord too. And you trust me, the Discord was quiet. It was like me, Mally, and Doppel talking to each other. This one was the peak of the mountain. Higher high, right? Higher high, higher than that. People longed the hell out of this. And it went from like 24 down to like 18K and it wrecked people. But the key here, why is this obvious to a rainbow theory trader, not to a normal person looking at a chart, right? You can't really see what's going on here, right? Like it's just red and greens. Maybe you can, I don't. That's why I programmed all this, right? Like I had incapabilities that I had to add algorithms to. That is a higher high on weaker colors. We have purples and blues here. Really good, real good strength. We have another higher high here. Greens and blues. It's getting weaker. And then we had a third higher high, which was just pure greens. And dude, if you go back 2 years ago in the Discord, you will see us talking about this. Hey, I think this is bad. I think this is a range high. I think this is like going to form a creek. And it did. And that's what this was. So we had this whole creek set up. Was going perfect. And then FTX blew up. And then the whole chart got changed, right? This was thing. So we were setting up at a pretty clear, right? Here's your support. Here's your resistance. Like we started having the bouncy ranges and we're like, hey, we're somewhere in here. Right. That's what got us. So there's your failure. Plus all those whale prints, those bearish whale prints, right? That's how we spotted that one. We didn't get burned on that one. We got burned on the 2021. Learn from our scars. We don't want to get scarred again. And then we started catching them in this damn thing. I think there was maybe one or two other, I don't remember, but we're going to get back into here because this is running a bit long. And this is how this works. So you're going to ask like, hey, runner, why do they do this? They need liquidity. Bad. And they can't get it without wrecking people. And that's what this was. We got into this. We rolled over. Let me turn runner bottom. Return reversion bands. I just want to clean up a little bit. I'll have to go like that. So we got the top range established. I drew my order block. We got the bottom range established. We got my order block. Once you get to about here, when you're here, I don't know that there's order blocks. But once we get a little bit of a reverberations through here, I start to pick up and saying, hey, we're in something. I think this is a range that we're going to be playing. And so far, we've been in this range for a while. 5 months now? But I'm going to rub your nose into it till you call it out, and I don't have to call it out. I see a higher high than this on weaker colors. And it started going down. And it went through, and it popped, and we jumped the creek. And I personally... Not that this is financial advice. I don't remember exactly. I didn't catch this. I think I caught that. I think that's where I was like, hey, it's reclaiming the order block. I'm done. They're going to jump the creek. And this is where Pepper started like hitting me up really, really hard because he realized I called that one. And it's like, hey, there's something to these rainbows. So essentially what this does You get to the higher high that baits everybody, and then your FOMO bears long it. FOMO bears being the ones that they can't stand looking at bullish price action, so they buy the top. The creek then forms off the backside of this mountain, and it liquidates all the bears, and they're sent liquidation emails. But on the flip side, there are FOMO bears who short these bottom ranges. Remember the Costanza idea? You need to do the opposite. Well, the majority of the market doesn't do that. At least the ones who chat about it. The big whales don't do this. And then the creek jumps. The creek jumps, and then these bears who long this get liquidated, and then you get this beautiful disbelief pump that people cannot believe happened, but it does happen. All right, and it printed, and I longed that one right around there. I think Pixa freaking actually nailed that one, which was crazy. And then it happened again. There was another. I'm sorry. Let me draw that back. I've been moving stuff so it's clear. This was the second creek. It rolled over and did it again, and we formed another mountain and another creek. And if you'll notice, I don't have a Wyckoff chart on here that does two creeks. So when I say we're off the map, you can't go textbook. You really can't. But if you guys study this, you can get a sense of it. And this was another creek we called, and I got another entry around there. So in May I longed, and then July I longed, and I deployed capital. I still have these bags. I'm not selling these. These are range lows. I'm holding Bitcoin. I'm gonna hit long-term capital gains. These are just cold storage bags. But this is what I did. I longed that. So I haven't. So I'm showing you the entries, but I haven't managed the exits because I'm still holding these. And then, well, that's the creek. So that's happened. Same thing. Look at this beautiful, beautiful mountain. It didn't happen on this exchange, but some of the exchanges blipped just a little bit higher, and it got counted as a higher high. People longed the bejesus out of it. Look, hey, blues and greens, greens and greens. Greens are weaker. It nuked. And the other part of that too is that order block here that we previously were able to blip into. We weren't really able to blip into this and hold anything. So it's that's real bearish. If bulls in general, side note, if bulls work all the way up to an order block and they don't swing through it, it's bearish. Surprise, surprise. If you do all that work and then you roll over and play dead, you're dead. Just how it goes. But this was another one that creek jump. It went below the order block, scared the bejesus out of people, relong that one, and then we started going back up the range, and then the yen carry trade died. And we got a reversion ban. So before I go any further, because that is in summary how we trade creeks. Those are the creeks and mountains that burned me. That's the hybrid of Wyckoff theory with rainbow theory. That is, in conclusion, creek jumps 201. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, please click like, subscribe, follow, whatever, depending on what platform you're on. We're live on Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter, or X, however you want to call it. So that's the annotation of these. That's kind of how I'm going to do it. And I'm going to eventually get documentation on this and write those up on the things. So let me catch up on chat before I go into the last one that we bid on. So anyway. Fletch asks, the Wyckoff guys, are you talking about Jack and Bruce? Yeah, Jack, for sure. I don't follow Bruce at all. The other Wyckoff guy I consider can actually trade it is Josh Olszewicz, also known as Carpe Noctem. It's easier to Google Carpe Noctem because I cannot spell Olszewicz to this day. Sir, Mally Sweep, can't buddies tell the story? Wicks do the damage. Yes, sir, Mally. We're going to have you on stream soon. Hopefully the kids' Bandcamp stuff lines up better in the near future. Swiper, I wish someone told me about Wyckoff patterns years ago. I see the patterns everywhere now, and I always expect the springs-deviation has been a game changer for entries. It is, man. You'll start studying Wyckoff stuff, and you'll start noticing stuff in hindsight, and then you'll start noticing little springs and stuff where you're just behind the curve, and then eventually you'll cross this threshold in your mind where you're it's happening now, and once you get to that point, you can trade it. You can be it's happening now, I need to get long. And that's where we get into this reversion one. I didn't understand the yin carry trade. I think a lot of people still don't, but the people that do go watch the YouTube videos. I'm not a foreign currency dudes. We can never talk Doppel back into coming into stream. Maybe he can talk about it. I've already got the name for the stream, by the way. If you guys don't know, it's going to be called Yin and Jins, in reference to generators for Generac. So I'm very excited to use that name for all the wrong reasons. But he's taking a little bit of a hiatus, enjoying family life, as is Swo and myself. But this one was different. This was not a creek jump. We were building up, and then the bottom fell out. And this printed strong colors on the marks out of the way. You notice these are the only white candles there are. And for Rainbow Theory-wise, white candles are the gnarliest color we can paint. And I bit on that one there as well. And then I exited this one because I got spooked. This was a Bart Simpson trade. I was expecting to get up to the top of the range here. That was my home run theory trade. Enter here, sell here, right? That's 101 trading, right? Buy low, sell high, Photoshop your P&Ls and make a paid group right now. We hit a Bart Simpson here on the H2 and I got spooked and I was like, hey, I don't ever really very often ever get to catch these in the bottom of the reversion band on a white on Bitcoin. That's usually just a low cap thing. Well, I caught it on Bitcoin. I was like, I'm gonna exit here, and she fell back pretty bad. And now we're kind of ranging. So Rainbow Theory with Wyckoff and liquidity theory and capitulation catches. We caught those three in the past 5 months. So shout out to all the people who've taught me a bunch of stuff. Shout out to the OGs in the Discord. Trust your cyans, dudes. They're very good. Now I don't know. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's ranging. It's getting weird. In my honest opinion, though, let me go to another chart that's not marked up as bad. This one's marked up bad too, but in my opinion, and this is burned me before when I said it. I think your chance to send us down to like 30K was here and here and here, and they didn't do it. So like the opportunity to do it, the Bears had the opportunity and they didn't take it. So I'm starting to like kind of suspect we're at a floor. But at the same time, we're printing lower highs, right? It's weird. That yin carry trade throws off the chart too, because we got a capitulation wick in here, which I was not like on the original like Wyckoff plan for whatever this is for Bitcoin. So anyway, that's how that goes. And if I can confuse you guys anymore, welcome to Rainbow Theory, where I talk in made up terms, but we chase whales and the whales win. So we can swim with them instead of against them. We do pretty well in the long run. Like, been trading rainbows for 7 years and got people with clients for over 5. Like, there's alpha here if you can actually understand eventually like what I'm talking about. But that's why I stream, because this is we're pretty deep in uncharted territories. But yeah, that's Wyckoff Rainbow Theory 101. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Plus a capitulation catch. So we don't get those often, but those are fun to catch when you can. So moving on, actually, one last bearish thought here. I'm going to move on and show you guys. I do have a bearish concern with Bitcoin, and that would be Scottie Pippen of the old Chicago Bulls tweeting that he's bullish on Bitcoin. Hashtag be like Satoshi. If you guys aren't familiar, he's apparently in, I would assume, I don't know if it's true, but I would assume he's in some financial trouble because he tokenized a basketball as a real world asset and got involved with the Game 5 ball project, which in hindsight, I think Bitcoin was like $70,000 when he did this, and it's a clear range high signal. So I'll show you this. It's pretty cool. It's not cool. It's not cool at all. Like, this stuff is super cringy to me, and I think not cool. But at the same time, you have to remember, I'm a big hamster racing fan. So what do I know? So they put a basketball on the blockchain. I guess crazier things have been done. I mean, I don't know. You know me, we bet bags of dog food to donate to shelters. So maybe we need a tokenized Rainbow Trends dog shelter donations, which, by the way, I'm going to do a run tomorrow. So anybody wants to do a donation, hit me up. We're loading up the truck and sending it over. But this is a good example of why I can explain to you guys why Ripple can't go to $500 a token. Let's say the Game 5 vault is tokenized. What can be the max market cap of the Game 5 ball? Well, the Game 5 ball is not the most valuable piece of NBA memorabilia of all time. It's not. So if it's not, it's got to be less than the most memorable, the most valuable assets. So out of the top 12 most expensive NBA memorabilia items ever sold as of December 8, 2023, bottom is $12,000 Meta World Peace Championship ring. Michael Jordan's Nike Airship, $1.4 million. LeBron James Logan card, $2.4. Blah, 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 blah. We'll get to the top 3. Signed Kobe Bryant MVP jersey, 5.8. I actually would want that. Stephen Curry rookie card, 5.9. And the most valuable thing was Michael Jordan's The Last Dance jersey for $10 million. So if that tokenized ball, it's got to be worth less than the Last Dance jersey, in my opinion. So technically the market cap should be less than $10 million diluted, right? So they real world asseted a single item, and they have talks and projections of this going to be a very, very big project, which maybe it will. They got a website. They're on CoinGecko. I just, this is not what the industry needs. This is why a lot of people just say buy Bitcoin, forget everything else. But they've got like long-term visions of this growing into like $1 billion thing, and maybe if you leverage it, but it's also kind of funny they show you the tokenomics. So there's going to be 1 billion tokens. So divide 10 million by 1 billion, and that gives you an idea of what the max market cap could be. So anyway, moving on. Maybe you're the biggest Pippin fan, and maybe that real world assets is a really good thing. Whatever. I joke. I cry. I laugh. Whatever. Another interesting thing, Yubico two-factor authentication key vulnerability breaks. Blah, 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 blah. If you're a YubiKey guy, definitely go read this article. I'll go throw it in the chat. There's been a compromise. Long story short, though, I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe they have to have physical access to the card. And, I wanted to point something out to you guys. Don't be flashy. Don't let people know you have these things. Because I got to share with you, no matter how awesome your encryption you think it is, a thug with a pipe wrench against your shins can unlock any form of a cold wallet. They will open it. I don't care if you've got an 80 seed phrase key. You get enough hits on your shins, you will open that thing for them. So don't be flashy. Don't let people know you have the stuff. Hide it well. Keep it protected, right? But speaking of protection, there's leaked chain analysis videos suggesting that Monero transactions may be traceable. If you guys don't remember, I believe it was the FBI actually put up bounties back in the day to crack Monero. And I think Zcash too. I could be wrong, but shout out Zcash. I'm in full confidence. Not full confidence, but I'm of the opinion these bad boys aren't protected. I don't think crypto coins, privacy coins are actually private. I'm pretty sure they've been cracked. Would be my opinion. So be safe. Don't be careful with your physical keys. Be careful with Monero. Whatever. So moving on to Ethereum, the number 2. People were calling out Vitalik for selling a bunch of Ethereum while he was bull posting of Ethereum, and he came out to defend himself. He says, whoa, guys. Hey, yeah, you can see the Ethereum wallets are dumping Ethereum on the market while I'm talking bullish Ethereum. How dare you? He's like, fair, just stop selling ETH. And he goes, hey, that sell from yesterday, by a biodefense group I fund was triggered by an automatic cow swap TWAP order that was set up way back on August 29th. That was the last one. How dare you? And my boy Zach Val comes in with the greatest line, and rightfully so. Why on earth are you funding a biodefense group? Which is just great. Because I don't know why Vitalik is using the Ethereum Foundation funds to fund a biodefense group. Makes no sense for me, but it's actually hilarious. So, moving on to Ethereum. We're out here. I've got marks everywhere. Shout out to Body of Light, which you're hearing now. That's their singer. We have a lot of fun if you can't tell when we're bored. But I figured if I'm going to get a copyright strike on my streams, I'm going to get it from someone I dig and like. So, it's not that I monetize any of these streams, but so I don't really care about copyright stuff, but anyway, I'm digging their stuff, and that's what you guys are listening to. Ethereum, I think it's overhated. I think it's crazy. I think it's kind of bled out. It's a nasty chart. We've retraced. We've hit liquidity. These old order blocks with this stuff stacked. I'm not going to spend much time on this because we're already running way late. I bought here, sold on the BART, right around there. I was later on this one, but I think it's probably time if you think Bitcoin's going to get up. I think this one's lagging Bitcoin. So if you're bullish on Bitcoin, I think this one's going to be a laggard, but Ethereum has not been the prettiest thing to trade long-term hold bag-wise. So anyway, moving on. And we mentioned it before, hamster racing. You guys know this is one of the biggest things to hit the crypto industry of all time. Forget the real-world assets of the GameFi ball. Focus on the hamster racing, because this was one of the greatest technologies I've ever seen pioneered on the blockchain. And while it's not directly related to the racing, Binance has announced it's the 58th project on the Binance launch pool called HMSTR, Hamster Combat, a crypto game built on Telegram mini app platform. Binance has recently frequently listed TON tokens, including not coin TON dogs. I don't even know what they're talking about. But the thing is there's going to be a Hamster Combat token, and maybe I need to get back on board with that bad boy. So anyway, but if we're going to talk tokenomics of hamster racing, I hope it sounds like this. I just saw this and thought it was cool, so I wanted to share.
Ride, what do you do for a living?
I'm a tech founder.
Oh, tech? That's awesome.
I'm building a Web3 product that's revolutionizing the blockchain space with a new layer 2 technology that's scalable using AI.
Okay, very nice.
And
nice
actually,
meeting
right
you.
now with our community, we're settling tokens. When you buy our token,
that was cool.
You're joining our decentralized community of individuals.
Yo,
and
okay, I get it.
I'm not finished.
This is why I just say like buy Bitcoin and like chill. This stuff is just
Sick ride.
crazy.
What do you do?
Because so much stuff talks like that. But moving on, another meme I saw. You guys know we ever say sell half on a double. This posted up in the memes from the debate, and I think it's awesome. Looks like the kind of guy who takes back initials after a 2x pump. So shout out 9K for that lesson learned. We've got videos on that one. And transitioning from hamsters to 9K shout outs to Rainbow Theory, Wyckoff, all the different jazz. I have a very important update on my beloved Doppelbait. So my Decision 2020 card has been received by PSA and is currently being evaluated. Now, Janet Yellen has recently come down with COVID, so hopefully she recovers. I wish her a speedy recovery. But we are going into never been done before territory. No one has ever graded a Janet Yellen Decision 2020 card, so we are getting into price discovery. And I've got to figure out what to do with this card when it comes back. We're definitely 100% going to do a reveal of the PSA grade. We're going to hope for 10, which I doubt we are. Maybe we get an 11. But we got to figure out, once we have the most prime Doppelbait in the world, what do we do? What's the most fun thing we could do with tokenize it? JS from YouTube says we should tokenize the Janet Yellen card. I'm down. I'm so down. Jesus. That's the best joke I've had streaming it. We can do it on Sol. We can tokenize Decision 2020 card. I'll be the founder and we'll do a Game 5 copy ripoff the website, the token. And how much does it cost to put? I got the card for nothing. I'm spending like 20 times the value of the card to actually get this thing FedEx and delivered there. Oh man. Doptoshis. Guys, keep it coming. We have to do it. We'll do it on Solana. We'll tokenize it into Doptoshis. There'll be 69,000 of these. And I'm sorry, this is so stupid, but I love it. To put the coin on Pump Fund. Yes. You know what? I think we're there. I think we're there. We just got to figure out how to bait Doppel to come on stream and onboard it, and maybe, you know what? He could be the custodian. He could be the custodian and do the video where he holds it and wears a hashtag yelling, or not cash tag yelling. Anyway, moving on. SEC is on the move again, and eToro has settled with them. So Mr. Gary Gensler is on fire. Since we're talking SEC and Yellen and the Treasury and everyone else, we gotta get back to serious parts of this right now. I actually know some people that have started blockchains, so we might actually be able to do that. And how do we? Well, I got a lawyer too, because we got to figure out how to not to go to jail over that one. Maybe if we do a white paper where we clearly state this is a security, you shouldn't trade it. Like our plan is for this to not make money. Maybe we'll be in the clear. We'll be the first crypto project to say don't invest in us. So anyway, another one though, in return fire, SEC Chairman Gary Gensler is under investigation by top Republican lawmakers Jim Jordan, Patrick McHenry, and James Corner for engaging in suspected political favoritism in the hiring practices, which is a fantastic headline. Albeit what most of these things do, they just bring him into Congress, they'll make him show up in person, and then they'll yell at him, and then nothing happens. He won't go to jail. So anyway, moving on, another thing. Nick O'Neill continues to deliver. He's been super, super entertaining to me. And he keeps pushing the level of entertainment to new levels, which I didn't think was possible. And somehow he did a video with a lookalike, a damn good lookalike of Gary Gensler. And I'm not going to show the video because it's very inappropriate. And I've already been permabanned before from these platforms, so I don't want to mess with it. But definitely go check that one out because it is shockingly similar, and the voice is similar as well. But I'm assuming it has to be AI adjusted, but maybe I'm wrong. But moving on, back to traditional markets, and I say back to, we never touched them, but we're going to say we're going back to them. U.S. August CPI inflation rises to 2.5, estimated 2.5, previous 2.9. Long story short of this, the rates cuts are coming, and we're going to get one before the election. We're going to get one after the day after the election, which I don't remember how. I imagine, hope to God they do the election overnight and we don't have to wait 3 days. I don't want to go through that mess again. Another thing, the bets are coming that we're going to get we're getting a 15% chance that we're actually talking about a 50 basis point cut. And long story short, I don't really care if it's a 25. I don't care if it's a 50. I personally think one day Jerome Powell should come out and say 49 basis points just to mess with the algos, because they wouldn't know how to interpret it, right? And the news stations who already have their pre-made news articles about 25 or 50 wouldn't know what to do. But remember, this is coming from a guy who's a rainbow cow on Twitter who is going to tokenize a Janet Yellen PSA card. So keep that in mind. But we got a bounce on the S&P after a higher or a lower high, and it's recovered quite strong. The real big thing here, you have to decide for yourself, and I don't think anybody really has this answer yet. Regardless of it, a 25, a 50, 100, a 75 rate cut, is a rate cut bullish? You have to consider that. We don't know yet. It's not the same every time. We're at almost all-time highs on the S&P 500, and we're going into a rate cut into an election. Volatility's on the menu, boys and girls. It's coming. And long story short, don't just assume a 50% rate cut's bullish. There's been a lot of times where they've done rate cuts and price has nuked months later. So it totally could. I hope to God the rate cut's bullish and we go S&P 6,000. I hope that happens. But what I wanted to say is, I've been saying it forever. I said it for, what was it, a year and a half. I said, wait till Gary comes out, wait till Jerome comes out and says 0. And he did. We have a 0 basis point rate cut. And we've been holding 0 for a while. The next stage is for him to say negative. And the negative's coming real soon. We've been years away for a long time. Now it's coming soon. It's coming. They've got inflation under control finally. The rate cut's coming, which means the markets have to price this in. Are the bulls or the bears going to win it? And we don't know. But the current reason why we're pumping here is obviously the Malley sweep of the 9. It's clearly it. I love that tool. It's fun now. But NVIDIA actually printed and ran up high and did really, really well. So NVIDIA kind of rebounded after the fake letter was revealed. We kind of nuked. Look at that. Look at that beautiful algorithm saying, hey, it's a bottom. You need to long that. And you need to sell that. Shout out RunnerBot. I may or may not know how it's coded. I do. It took years. But regardless, we pumped. Now we're back up. We got a 13 here. So we got to watch it and see if this thing bad boy really goes. Don't shorten NVIDIA. So many people have gotten wrecked, but a lot of people could also say lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. It's not good. I don't know. This thing can't go to infinity, obviously. So keep that in mind. And we just have to keep an eye on it because it's the king right now, and it's saving the S&P 500. The other stuff's not doing so well. Apple's kind of going sideways. Their new Apple iPhone launch really, really bombed. Didn't do really well. They're adding a button, so that's cool. And while they did the release, Huawei came out, and if you don't know who these guys are, this is like the Chinese badass phone. So it's probably backdoored, and if you put in crypto seeds or crypto wallets on this, it's probably going to get stolen. But this was cool, and I had to show it because this is beyond Samsung Flip. This is just amazing. Flip, tablet. Flip again, bigger tablet. It's a 3-way flip phone. It's beyond cool. United States government's banned these from import because they're afraid they're like backdoored and it's a security threat. But like, that is so sick, and there's no seams. Like, beyond sick. I mean, we're in a world where the glass bends and doesn't crack, so that's cool. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you guys for coming on. Click follow, subscribe, whatever it's on. I'm really trying to grow the YouTube channel. I'm gonna go head over now into the Rainbow Trends Discord to hang out with the OGs and talk whatever you guys want to talk about. It's been a fun week. It's time to relax. I'm off tomorrow. I got a call with Gammy Chan to do some Rainbow Theory stuff. We got some good times going. But when in doubt, if you guys just don't touch leverage, be chill. Be this guy. This is how the dudes are just sitting on Bitcoin chill when these markets are going crazy. We're calm. We're cool. I'm not worried about anything. We're just chilling. That's how we are. So anyway, I'll see you guys next Thursday, and I'm gonna go head up in the Discord now. But thanks for stopping by. It's been fun. Talk to you guys later.